First session of the day, plenary session, the business and the barriers. I would quickly like to take the name of the speakers, and whoever is present here, please join us on the stage. Jagdish Mitra, Chief Strategy Officer and Head of Growth, Tech Mahindra. Dr. Shaji Prabhakaran, President, Football Delhi. Shananda Adhar, Deputy General Secretary, AIFF. Jose Antonio, Managing Director, La Liga India. Ashish Shah, COO, MPL Sports Foundation. Aditya Datta, Commercial and Marketing Director, Gujarat Titans and founder, Impetus Sports. The moderator for this session would be Dr. Amol Patil, Executive Director, Global Soccer Conclave.
Hello everyone, and welcome to today's first session, that is the plenary session of the second day of Global Soccer Conclave, the third edition. And I welcome all the esteemed panelists who are there with us, and I think Ashish ji and Aditya Datta is joining us virtually. Couldn't make it today. So welcome all. Let's begin the discussion today.
So we talked about the performance of football and we talked about the strategic side of football. These all things cannot be completed without discussing the financial implication and the financial aspect behind it, because business is something which drives all these activities in a certain leading direction. And therefore we are here today to talk about the business side of football, which empowers the initiatives, the vision, and the further growth and development in the entire football ecosystem for the development of the game. So my first question to Mr. Jagdish Mitra ji. Football has been growing in India and in the Indian subcontinent. And we are seeing that technology is reaching every household. We are seeing the technology is easing us every day with its innovative inventions. How do you see, as a tech giant, what is the similarity between the technology and the football that we are seeing today?
Amit and everybody else, first of all, thank you for giving us an opportunity to be here at such an important discussion. Technology and football, both very, very close to me personally. And I think it's a great opportunity for India. And I think I'm going to take the President's words of saying, feel proud about what you are and feel proud about what therefore you can build. And I think being a representative of India's IT journey or services journey, it's been a global phenomena. We today are the largest technology services hub of the world. We provide today's technology that runs from spaceships, to basic banks and telecom companies, all from Indian companies right out of India. So India has created that base of education and discipline and engineering and management graduates into a IT powerhouse. You asked me about football. So football also, with the huge amount of talent that we have in India, the young population that we have in India, and the reach, and the most important thing about football is it's probably the most easiest sport to start with. The easiest in terms of rules, easiest in terms of expenses and cost for people to start. The connect that I see most, as you rightly said, the biggest challenges that India faces today in football is its ability to probably train, ability to spot talent, and ability to be able to give that kind of coaching and guidance to these millions of youngsters that we have. The only answer, I believe, and I think many believe, is technology. A technology can reach a village in, Nagaland or Mizoram, or a small town in Tamil Nadu or another part in Ladakh the fastest way, and can communicate the abilities of an international coach the fastest way than any other people and any other man-related ability can. So if we adopt technology as a mechanism, and my request to AIFF from this forum would be, and people like us, our companies, would be happy to support any technology development, because that could be the big foundation of setting up and unearthing talent and coaching them. That's the big connection. And my dream is, like India is known for its tech and IT, India of the future should be known for the football as the sport.
Absolutely, Jagdishji. And we all are here to see that dream, to take part in that dream moving ahead with the vision that India and the Blue Tigers will roar one day in the World Cup. And I'm sure the team that we have here and under the able leadership will be able to achieve that in coming years. Absolutely, the technology is the way ahead, and looking at India, which is a huge country and with a great population that we have and young talent that we are seeing, which is nurturing these days, technology will surely bridge the gap and will aid us to improve our performances. My next question to Dr. Shaji Prabhakaranji is, how do you see the football business shaping up and the financial structure at this point?
Hi, it's a excellent question and very pertinent question. India is a leading economic destination for the world. Globally, India is putting its place like never before in the history, and we are one of the fastest growing economies in the world, and the businesses and the unicorns, setting records. But the football economy is far behind. And that is one of the challenges what we have got. And I'm sure we will have to find a quick answer on a short term, medium term, and to the long term. Because the sustainability aspect of football is directly related to the economic situation of the game. And if the economy of the game doesn't grow, then we will limit our growth to a certain level, and our potential, what we dream of, will not be. So therefore, the kind of properties we have in football right now, so we need to see that how we can repackage, which can attract sizable economic opportunities, and that way we will have more money, more investment going into the grassroots. And therefore, what we need is, we need to completely transform many aspects of the game to bring in that kind of attention from the companies like what Jagdish is representing here. Tech Mahindra was a partner FIFA World Cup twice, 2010 and 2014. It started with Satyam and then the giants of Indian industry are part of Indian football already. The Reliance Industries, they are part of Indian football. If you take the Tata, this is, the technology we live in sometime, we have this kind of disruptions, but let's come back. What I'm trying to say that football is very fortunate in India that companies like Reliance, companies like Tata, companies like Hero, and I'm sure, there will be a day when all the giants of Indian industries will be part of Indian football. Not because that it need to be a charitable affair, it should be a pure business. And without football business, the football industry growing, 10x in next 3 years, will not be able to reach to our masses. A country of 1.4 billion is a great opportunity for the world, but primarily for us. How we take football to each of them, and that would determine how we are able to change the game, transform the game, and bring in the right kind of investment through strategic partnership, through commercial partnership, and the struggles. See, all the clubs, whether they are small, whether they are big, they are putting the money out of their pocket. And the balance sheet doesn't look very attractive. And that is one of our, learning has to be from the IPLs. We don't have to go to EPLs of the world to learn. We are here in India itself. If IPL is the topmost sport properties in the world, let's see what they are doing right. Let's learn from them, and then also learn from the La Ligas, the EPLs, and the Bundesliga, and see, what is that we have to come up with a strategy where the commercially we also reach to a level where, we all can achieve something inspiring. And that is where the game-changing movement will happen. And and it will take a time, when our team will go and play in the World Cup. And that day, we will be adding, maybe some 1,000x into the industry. That's no doubt. But that day is not, just near. But then we all have to work hard. So therefore, no doubt, we have to put a lot of focus, a lot of attention, bring in right minds on the table to make a strategy whereby we are commercially as well successful. Right now, we are not in any way in that direction. So we are at the mercy right now. So therefore, we need to really change that. And I'm sure the new team which is elected, and our President Chaube and the Executive Committee all will put the focus in that direction as well, and whereby we will see a greater vibrancy and economically a vibrant football ecosystem in India.
Definitely. And yes, economic growth of the country is increasing, empowering the football, and vice versa. Football development is again empowering the economy, and that is where we are looking ahead so that the Blue Tigers can roar. My next question to Saji, taking further from Shajiji here, as a acting secretary and now a deputy secretary and being into the football administration with the AIFF, how do you see the newer opportunities in revenue generation for exploring the football business side and leading us towards the sustainability in longer run?
Firstly, good afternoon to everyone out here. On behalf of All India Football Federation, it's a pleasure to attend this conclave. Coming to your question, obviously Shaji mentioned about the big corporates in India, the Tatas, the Reliance, and the JSWs being part of the football fraternity. To add to that, I guess if football has to develop, it has to go beyond the football house of Delhi. It has to go to every state, every district of India. And AIFF has already have plans to decentralize the games, and it has to start from the youth, the grassroots, because that's the focus area. We want the state associations to be vibrant, to be self-reliant. Already our President Kalyan Chaube has assured full support to all the state associations so that the state associations can manage their own leagues, own youth leagues, girls, boys, which will give opportunity to even smaller companies based in those particular regions and states to come forward and be part of the football family. We have seen football grow and touch into new geographies within India in the last 6-7 years, but I think only 50% of the work has happened. 50% of the states are still not part of the mainstream football fraternity in India, which needs to happen. And once we have the full 35, 36 member associations of the states and the union territories part of this, I'm sure smaller companies in the state and also the large corporates, multinational companies would be more keen. Again, it start from the grassroots level and grow up. More matches, more teams, more players, both boys and girls. That's the secret of it. And that's part of the answer which I wanted to give. And as you said, new avenues. The football, at least the watching sports, not only football, watching sports, there's a sea change. What it was when we were growing up, or maybe even 5 years back. I have a teenage son, and I have seen firsthand how he perceives and sees sports. For him, even 90 minutes football is the attention span is so less nowadays. He doesn't watch 90 minutes football. He waits for those highlights packages. So how you package the game? Now it's 5 minutes highlight packages, 2 minutes just the goal packages, and they wait for that. But if you look at that, my son is a big Formula One fan. And that started from the Netflix documentary. And they're willing to wait for 1 year for those 8 series, 1 hour series, and they could just finish it overnight, binge watch it overnight, but they won't watch 90 minutes football or even a T20 cricket because their attention span is not there. They'll wait for the highlights package to come. They don't watch football sitting on the sofa on the television. They want to lie on the bed and watch it on their phone. So that's where technology is. And I think technology it's our friend, we need to befriend that. And it's going to take us to the next world in the coming days. Already things are changing. One of the sponsors out here, AWS, we have been working with them very closely for the last 2 years for the production and broadcast of league matches. That has also seen a huge change in the last few years. Gone are the OB-WANs and the satellite link-ups. Everything's through the net, so we use AWS as a server to take it. So the potential is huge, which saves cost, and the production quality remains same. So we need to obviously take production and try and find new avenues. Shaji mentioned that it should be somewhere near in the future that India would qualify for the World Cup. I just wanted to mention that we qualified for a Football World Cup a month back. That was FIFA tournament, which is going to be huge again in the coming ways. India for the first time qualified on merit in the FIFA Cup, which was played in Copenhagen. Against the best countries, and the number 1 ranked country in the world happens to be Singapore. So though they didn't win it, Brazil won it, but India participated. So that's another avenue for young fans to get connected with the game. And we did a E-Cup where the best players were chosen to represent the country, which the turnaround was fantastic. So new avenues, new way to attract newer fans, newer sponsors, and that's the mantra of the game.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. So newer opportunities and better engagements have to be discovered, innovative ideas for engaging audience, obviously, which brings the business side and which strengthens the economy and absolutely supporting the sport and further development, which brings me to Jose. The La Liga model is just unique, and it is a mix of not just performance but education, integration of technology into it, bringing engagement of fan, entertainment quotient, and a lot of things are there. So how do you see that in Indian perspective and your experience with it?
Well, first I want to thank the organization of the Global Soccer Conclave for having me here. And I want to congratulate you for the work you are doing in consolidating this event. I think it's really important for the development of Indian football that once per year you have this forum where football can get together. Also, I want to take advantage to publicly congratulate Mr. Chaudhry for being elected president of the All India Football Federation. Well, I think you have a hard job ahead, and but also I think you choose a really great team. No, I can say that I know Sunando and Saji from a long time. I can say that they are probably two of the best sound and serious professionals in Indian football at the federation level. So I think you have a good team for the job. So I mean, just the fact that you are here, I think, is a big step forward for the AIFF. Right, because you are starting to establish a dialogue with Indian football. I think that's great. I stop backgrabbing. So, well, yeah. Basically, La Liga in the last 9 years. I mean, it was when President Tebas was elected as our chairman. I didn't join by then. I joined La Liga almost 6 years ago, just for coming to India. No, so my job was to try to develop and it still is to develop our brand in India. But of course, I need to work under a strategy. And what you say is right. No, basically, what we manage is to build a brand out of yet another European league that was there. Yeah, we have very good assets, no? Especially when journalists ask me, oh, don't you think that it's bad to have the Madrid and Barcelona, they are so dominant? Well, I think it's great to have two of the biggest clubs in the world. No, it's a great asset to work with. Then we have another job, is to bring the rest of the clubs, especially in a country like India, where football is not the #1 sport, to the top of mind of the fans. No, if I go to Mexico, we don't have that problem because Mexicans, they know even our second division clubs. But here in India, it's part of our jobs that the fans appreciate, not just Atletico that's there, but also Sevilla, Villarreal, Real Betis, Valencia. Those are big clubs, but they are not in the top of mind of the fans. So you ask of all of these. Well, basically, in terms of competition, we have a reference, which is EPL. We cannot hide that. They are the #1 in terms of business creation around the world. They have been promoting their brand for the last, I don't know, 25, 30 years and doing it right. And that's why they are the ones making the more money from broadcast rights. But we have been clear that first we had to do it differently. If we do the same, we'll never catch up. Second, and this is the most important, we need to adapt to this always changing world. So we need to go digital. Of course, we need to go international. I mean, our domestic market is not enough for doing a big league, so we need to grow internationally. And all of these other areas that we touch are parts of this strategy. So it's basically to reach the fan through every way possible. So digital can be direct, but there's other more indirect, like as we have in India, doing football schools, through the education, through the training of the people, cooperating with other football bodies. So at the end, if we establish a cooperation with AIFF, it won't affect that much our audience here, but it will be great for our image, no? And probably we can help them in whatever way we can devise. So it's not everything aimed to grow audience. At the end, that's the bottom line, but there's indirect approaches. So digital, as you just said, is fundamental. No, the younger generations consume football in a different way. That's out of any doubt, no? So they still watch our matches, so the audience figures they are. It's not true when you listen that, oh, young people doesn't watch football. It's not true, they do. If you go to audience, they are. But it's also true that they consume in a different way. So that's why digital channels are fundamental. Digital channels have a different language. You need to adapt to it. So everything else goes in that direction. To be present in the connect to the fan through every avenue possible.
So as I understand, Jose, you mean to say that the league or the organization has to be more aggressive in terms of promotion of the league and bring out and reach out to the larger audience and larger fan base to attract newer ways of attracting the revenue generation opportunities and thereby build up the brand in per se, inclusion of different aspects including education, technology, entertainment, and fan engagement activities. That's what?
At the end, they are all different faces of the same body.
Absolutely. I move quickly to Mr. Aditya Datta. For successful event or for successful initiative or for any other, football event, I would say, sponsorship is the backbone for supporting the initiative. And trust me, it's not that easy to generate sponsorship opportunities. What exactly, Aditya, you, in your opinion, the investors are looking for when they invest into any of the initiative or any of the opportunities in football? Or for that matter, in any sports? What is it, the key things, key stake things that they look for as a merit before investing money?
First, let me thank you for having me here, and hello to all the other panelists. It's a good question. I think there are a few things that a brand looks before investing. One is obviously the brand value of the league or the team, club that they're looking to invest in. Second is a brand fit. And third is obviously the assets. So when we're talking about brand value, what how the league or the team is placed in the entire ecosystem of sport is what they're looking at. So for an example, someone like a Mumbai Indians, even though they lose, they still have a fan following, and that's because their brand value in the ecosystem is quite high. When it comes to brand fit, I think it's very important that both the brand and the team have a perfect fit on what they're trying to achieve and their objectives. And the third, and which is one of also very important part is the viewership, the assets basically. So the players, the viewership, the fan base that every team has or every league has. Is what a brand is looking for. So.
Thank you, Aditya. I'll move quickly to Ashish. You have worked into the sports management side in football, and now you're associated with one of the leading gaming platform or fantasy league. In your opinion, do you think that the esports and fantasy league would be a source of revenue generation for the individual clubs individually, on their individual capacity, and can they contribute significantly as a part of revenue model?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Amol, and thank you for inviting me, and hello to all the co-panelists. I think some of the earlier panelists already spoke about sustainability in the football business, especially in India, and technology, and how India is well poised to take advantage of the digital transformation. I think gaming, esports, fantasy are probably providing the right synergy across those. We have right now the adoption of whether it's mobile phones or internet or now 5G rollout, Web3 technologies coming in, immersive technologies. All those are definitely going to help in the fan engagement. And gaming and esports are very well poised to take advantage. Giving a couple of examples in gaming, for example, as a football club, for example, would be very, very easy to reach out to fans. And we realized during the pandemic, the fans are not necessarily just the ones who are coming to the stadium, but they are actually all over the world, right? So you have clubs who have fans globally, and how do you kind of engage with all of them? And it would be fairly seamless to do so using gaming, conduct gaming tournaments, having various demographics that you have as your clients or as your fans, generate certain tournaments for them, have certain awards, whether it's NFTs, whether it's physical merchandise, whether it's actually meeting and interacting with your star players. There's so much that a club can do. And once you start doing this and more fans are interacting, I'm sure, the brands would, kind of love it and, would get probably more sponsors and would help towards your revenue. I think esports is, taking it to the next level. Just like any other team that a club would have, to create a team of esports, you need to scout and you need to nurture, and you need to have a team of, players, coaches. At MPL. We are even looking at, what are the unique things about sports science for esports players and kind of injuries that they have. And so that field is actually evolving. So once you have a team, you can compete. And today, Sunando spoke about the e-FIFA, but most of the large clubs today have esports teams. So if you have this, you can start competing against them. You can again engage with your fans. You'll be streaming these things, and again coming back to having brands and sponsors and going towards sustainability. I think that can really help as well. So I think using technology, using gaming, esports, fantasy could be a big game changer for Indian football clubs.
Thank you, Ashushi. India
and
is.
Sorry, Amol, I need to interrupt. I'm running very late, so I'll have to drop out at this stage.
Thank you for joining us, Ashushi. So India is booming up with a startup culture, and sports is not an exception to it. Even we are having a pitch day for startups and encourage them to present their solutions today. As a technology expert and a technology giant heading a big company, and also into the FICCI chair of technology and innovation, Jagdishji, my question to you is, according to you, or in your opinion, what does the startup should look for, or they should be looking for a solution which is market fit or right, touching to the market sentiment or to the requirement of what it is there? Do they are there at the moment right now, or they are quite away from the reality and they are more futuristic? Your take on it, and how does the technology powerhouses like Tech Mahindra or AWS are looking forward to bring out these futuristic solutions in football in next coming years, or actually nurturing them and supporting them in whichever way you are planning? Your thoughts on it?
So I'm glad you connected the dots for me, because for me it's absolutely a very aha moment when I realized that not just Tech Mahindra and AWS, Tech Mahindra and AWS are today building the first sports cloud, which is going to be one of the ones where hopefully the startups can use to build their applications on. As you know, that cloud is really an infrastructure which allows people to share and people to be able to consume without investing significantly on the infrastructure. And TechM and AWS are doing this now in a global way. We have a platform called FanNext, and all the discussion that we were having at the moment is all about, at the end of the day, the fans. If there are enough fans, your business model will survive. And so we have an egg and the chicken story. If you don't have fans, you don't have funding. If you don't have great clubs, you won't have fans. Now, you got to cut the cord somewhere and make sure that that's what we are building. That's what we are trying to do, that enables startups to create such fan experiences that brings, for example, in India, with the mobile revolution, we have a small kid. You'll funny, yesterday, just on our coaching platform, I asked a kid in our junior team, 11-year-old, lives in a small slum in Delhi. And I asked him, who's your favorite footballer? You know what he said? Anyone wants to take a guess in the crowd? So he said Ronaldo. So I said, okay, तो आप रोनाल्डो के फैन हो? कब से? बोले नहीं, इसी साल से. तो मैंने इसी साल से कैसे? नहीं, रोनाल्डो जूनियर, it's Ronaldo's son who plays for Man U and one of the junior teams of Man U. I didn't know of this. I didn't know that India is a FIFA team championship. But he knew. He knew because he has a mobile on his phone. And he could see it, and he watched Ronaldo Jr. playing football. So that's the opportunity. That's the huge opportunity, and the big connect that I had when I saw FICCI, because this year, and I chair FICCI's Science, Technology and Innovation Committee globally. It's a huge opportunity for technology companies to create that environment which allows startups to create these small fan applications that connects, whether it's in language, whether it's like Sunanda talked about, small, England invented the T20. Why can't India be the one which challenges and creates this new format for football, which no one in the world has thought of? And we create this unique fan engagement game which allows people to come onto the platform. Not the 90 minute, like he says, would stay. But is there an opportunity for a very different format that will come out of the startups, that will come out of these experiments that we will do across the world?
Thank you. So moving further from here, we are all, it's our human tendency that when we have to plan for any event, and if somebody is taking that leadership role, we actually tend to fall back to that person that, yes, now I'm secure, that person is going to do that job. And similarly is, or maybe happens in organizations as well. So if we have, a football federation at a national level, the state federation should have something for their sustainability. And I would come to Shaji ji for his ideas on keeping in mind of the good practices. How can we create a system, or at least move around the system, where the state chapters and the local units are financially sustainable so that we can target football development in a greater good?
Thank you. Like our states, associations were like, orphans all these years, I can say, because I'm still the president of one of the associations till I formally joined the federation. I can say no support came from the All India Football Federation to any of the states. And, when the child wants to, go through a process and be a successful engineer or a doctor or a scientist, or to run a successful business, there's a clear path laid. One need to get the right kind of education, right kind of support. And if the parents disown them, what they will do? They will struggle, they will be frustrated, and they will take path which won't be, adding to the value of what all we are dreaming. And that's the unfortunate situation of our football structure. What I don't know, how this happened. But if we take example of FIFA's biggest revenue comes from only one property, and maybe that would change with the Women's World Cup, how it is going to. Therefore, the true properties will bring in, maybe a 10 billion size of revenue to FIFA. And since 98, the Sepp Blatter, when he became the president, FIFA started the financial assistance program, and that has only grown. And when Infantino, when he became president in 2015, he increased the size of that support to 4 times. And every country, whether it is Bhutan or Maldives or China or India or Indonesia or any part of the world, they got equal attention, equal support, equal hand-holding, everything. And when I was working with FIFA, I was trying to convey the same to the federation here as well. We did initiate something, but then it didn't reach to every association. But then I'm sure the new leadership in Indian football will come up with that kind of policy where we need to handhold every state association, because each of the state associations are bigger than many of the successful or commercially successful European countries. Yeah, and like say, take example of Uttar Pradesh, 200 million people. How that 200 million people, a state like Uttar Pradesh, nobody has, even, it's near to Dwarka, very near to Dwarka. But I have never come across that there was a discussion, okay, let's strategize what we can do with Uttar Pradesh. And I being a president of Delhi, there was no discussion what we can do with the capital city. So I think this new leadership, that's the priorities are. How we put things whereby, we need to put seed capital. Yeah, we need to bring in, that mindset where the federation is building the capacity of those associations, and we need to carry them together with investment, with technical support, with human capital. Yeah? And we need to encourage them, we need to empower them. And that empowerment would bring in a lot of support, and there the state government itself might put in the seed capital. Yeah? And that would be our effort, how that synergies we can bring in. And then we need to look for those commercial partners around and structure everything around. And therefore, this is an absolute priority. If we want to be successful, a successful country, and we have to change the game, transform the game, without impacting the state associations, without channelizing their energy towards the one vision, one goal, what we will come up with, without empowering them, without building their capacity, we won't be able to change the game. We might have, 100 such, talks. It won't help. So therefore, I'm sure we will make, an absolute priority that to support the state associations in every way, not for anything else, just to ensure that what we are dreaming for is achieved through them, because the players come through that level. If they are not touching the players, we will not be able to see another Sunil Chhetri. We need more Sunil Chhetris who can take the game forward. And why I'm taking Sunil Chhetri name, he single-handedly kept the game alive in India, I can say. Because, see, he has delivered for the country. And he is a great inspiration. And we need to see players like him coming on every level, from a district level to the state level to the national level. And then, these Sunil Chhetris will be our ambassadors, who will be, the Barcelonas of this world should see that this is where the talent is. And we need to be partner, we need to be here with the right kind of involvement, engagement, and with right kind of investment. That is where, we will see that we get the right players to win the La Liga or the Champions League in the times to come. So that is where we need to put our thoughts, put our minds to bring in change in our discussion, among the fans as well, because that communication is very clear. Right now, the belief, the trust, the perception, we are at the lowest. And that need to happen. And I'm sure with the new team, this would be the priority. Thank you.
Absolutely. And yes, it is like a parenting of a child. You need to help him, support him in the growth phase, but at the same time, make him capable enough to take those steps to make financially independent. And I'm sure the apex bodies will be looking at this kind of relationship, which is synergistic for the growth of both the apex as well as the lower bodies. Moving to the next thing to Mr. Sunandoji, in terms of the professional leagues in India at present, how do you see the marketing strategies for better engagement of fans and the revenue generation into that part? We'll be having a quick questions because I know that we are already running late in the sessions, and we'll be coming back to our other panelists also. Yes, Sunandoji.
Yeah, when we talk about the football pyramid, just below the national team is the top leagues. The stronger the league, the better the national team would be. And we believe that. Obviously, at the bottom of the pyramid are the youth and the grassroots. It goes up to the professional and the top leagues. I think one question which has been asked multiple times is the number of matches that the Indian team players are playing in the top league. At best, they end up playing 20-25 matches, which is obviously not enough. When you compare with other European, let's say Asian countries also, countries like Japan, who we look up to, they end up playing 50-55 matches, and we are less than half of that. So if we have to bridge the gap, we need to play more matches. It's no secret that you get to play more matches, you become a better professional. So for that to happen, we need to have a larger pool with more clubs playing, the promotion relegation setting in, and with more clubs, there will be more number of matches. The season can go up to 9.5 months, which is something which you can ask any soccer fan, football fan, they'll say that. But it has not yet happened. But that is something which we need to work on, and we should try and implement that sooner rather than later.
Thank you. So, change in the strategy to bring out, increase the number of matches, prolong the season, thereby increasing viewership, bringing more fans to the game and strengthening it. Quickly moving to Aditya, you have worked with both football and cricket and into the phone. Your thoughts, do we see any inclination of the sponsors in terms of cricket or football in terms of investments or making that crucial decision of investing into that? Any kind of particular inclination, and how do you see that the landscape or the is changing in today's world? Because in India, we are seeing more inclination of sponsors in cricket rather than football at the moment.
Thanks, Amol. I think, Amol, there are two different products, and, we should look at it that way as well. One is, been around for a while. There's a good viewership, there's a good backing, and therefore, obviously, brands, are wanting to be a part of it. It's a world. The league is, maybe in the top 5 world leagues, and therefore, obviously everyone is wanting to use that platform. The viewership is really good. The brand value is very good. But having said that, I think football also has its place in sponsorship because it's a product that is growing. It's also a product where like Sunando and Shaji have mentioned that the grassroots and the youth system are in place, which gives an additional platform and story for a brand. Therefore, I feel that although yes, brands are looking to be part of IPL, but not every brand can do that because also the monies are high. And therefore, there is a very big pool of sponsors who could potentially be part of the footballing system. And I think it is about getting the right product out to them and the right platform, and the objectives that they have are being fulfilled. So two very different products. And like I said, not everyone can be part of IPL. So there are a lot of brands who want to be part of sport, who can be tapped into, use this platform, which is developing quite rapidly and very, very successfully.
Thank you, Aditya. And coming to a quick question with Jose, and we end the session after that. In your opinion, what are the 3-4 strategic things that we should be focusing as a developing football ecosystem like India for generating opportunities for better revenue generation and leading us towards sustainability?
Well, if I think long term, I'll focus on just one: grassroots development. No, no. I mean, I know that I have talked to Saji, and we are aligning on this. I mean, you cannot have a big tip of the pyramid if you don't have a big base. It's basic math. No, yes, you can have a great player and end up playing for Barcelona, but it's very, very difficult. Or for Man U, I don't care. It's very, very difficult. I mean, I give just a quick example. I'm taking Barcelona. No, why Barcelona now has 3 potential big stars that are under 20 or even under 19, which are the cases of now Alejandro Balde, Ansu Fati, Pedri, and Gavi, because those boys, they have been competing every weekend and training at least twice per week since they are 5, 6, or 7. I see this because on my son. No, he's no longer a player. He's 23 and he plays federated football just for fun, local leagues. But these guys, they've been competing when they are 7, training every week twice and competing every Saturday. And then from when they are 11, 12, which is when the big academies made the final selections, they are doing high performance training. I mean, training 3 days per week and competing maybe with the shirt of Barcelona or Rayo Vallecano, I don't care. But they are really competing since they are, that's when they are ready to, because they are been competing for the last 10 years of their life. At the same time, they go to school. Let's not forget that. We should encourage them not to forget that there is another life and it's just a very few will make it, no? But it's just about that. You need to invest that, to have some competitions and good, I mean, I think that's the challenge that Indian football has. Have a strong structure of grassroots. Second, convince the parents that the children, boys and girls, should practice a sport, even knowing that just 1% chances that they are not for being pro, but to practice sport is simply good for many reasons. I won't elaborate. And you need a good structure, which is that. It's easy to say, but difficult to do.
Thank you, Jose. And the last, I come to Jagdish Mitraji. Your message to those sports tech innovators and the people involved into this industry in the tech domain, building fan solutions and fan engagement things, bringing life to the game in terms of technology and empowering it. What should be they looking for in next coming 10 years?
Well, I think all people start, with a thought saying they'll build a unicorn. I think that's an outcome, and it's the end of a journey, can't be the goal. So to me, I think the only advice to all people who are starting startups around sports or in football, that focus on your market, focus on your fan, focus on anything that you have a target customer to. You saw Colonel Rathore in part of the movie. He's an Olympic champion, and he told me once that when they took him to Australia to digitize his movement of the hand when he shoots, and that got trained across and shown to people, saying, when you are a trap shooter, how do you train yourself to move your angle? That's an opportunity for all of us. And imagine the football opportunity you have of putting technology of what people like us and AWS and other companies are all putting together, build on that, find that unique proposition for a fan, for a football player, or a football club. You will succeed. You are sitting on a minefield of an opportunity, and then you will make your unicorns.
Thank you. So opportunities are big. We're just there and ready to grab them. I'm sure all the takers have this message clear with us that we have to move it towards the better future together and do the united efforts to take the football ahead and bring development to our country so that one fine day the Blue Tigers will roar. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you for such an insightful session, Dr. Amol Patil, and to all our esteemed panelists, thank you so much for joining us here in person and virtually as well. We now move on to our next session for